Have you ever looked at your watch, realized you were going to be late, and felt that sudden panic in your stomach? We all run late sometimes because of traffic, a missed alarm, or unexpected problems. But what exactly should you say when you finally arrive? Today, you will learn how to apologize for being late in a way that sounds completely natural and polite. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the JISH Learn English Podcast. I'm Shaylin. Let's get started. Let's start with the most common phrases you will hear in everyday English. When you finally walk through the door, the easiest thing to say is, "I'm sorry I'm late," or simply, "Sorry I'm late." These are perfect for everyday situations with your friends, family, or coworkers. But if you are walking into a more formal situation, like a business meeting, you might want to sound a little more professional. In that case, you can say, "My apologies," or "I apologize for being late." And if someone has been sitting there waiting for you, a very polite phrase to use is, "Sorry for keeping you waiting." It shows that you respect their time. Now, let's look at how these apologies are actually built. Don't worry, this grammar is very simple. Once you understand these patterns, you will be able to create your own natural English sentences. The first pattern is sorry followed by a complete idea. For example, "Sorry I'm late." Here, I is the subject and am is the verb. Together, they create a complete thought. We use this pattern when we want to apologize for a situation or an action. That's why we can also say, "Sorry I missed your call," or "Sorry I forgot," or "Sorry I couldn't come." Notice that after the word sorry, we are giving a complete message. This is one of the easiest and most useful apology patterns in English. The second pattern is sorry for followed by a noun. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. For example, "Sorry for the delay." Here, the word delay is a noun. We are not talking about an action. Instead, we are focusing on the problem or situation itself. That's why we can also say, "Sorry for the inconvenience," or "Sorry for the mistake." This pattern sounds especially professional, so you will often hear it in workplaces, customer service, and business emails. Now, let's look at another very common pattern, sorry for plus a verb ending in ing. We talked about this earlier with the phrase, "Sorry for keeping you waiting." Let's break it apart. After the word for, we usually use the ing form of a verb. That is why we say keeping and not keep. The pattern is simply sorry for plus verb-ing. Once you know this pattern, you can create many useful sentences by yourself. For example, "Sorry for interrupting." Here, the verb is interrupt, but after for, it becomes interrupting. We can also say, "Sorry for bothering you," or "Sorry for making you worry." Notice that every verb ends in ing. This is one of the most natural ways to apologize for something you are doing or something you have caused. Now that you understand the grammar, let's learn some highly natural phrases that native English speakers use all the time. Sometimes, instead of saying sorry, it is actually better to say thank you. For example, when you arrive late, you can say, "Thanks for waiting for me." This sounds positive because you are appreciating the other person's patience rather than focusing only on your mistake. Native speakers do this very often because it sounds warm and friendly. Another useful phrase is, "I didn't mean to be late." We use "didn't mean to" when something happened accidentally. In other words, you are telling the other person that being late was not your intention. If you spent too much time getting ready or finishing something before leaving home, you can naturally say, "Sorry I took so long." Here, "took so long" simply means that something required more time than expected. Now, let's learn a phrase that you will hear all the time in movies, TV shows, and everyday conversations. If you are still traveling and you want to let someone know you will arrive late, you can say, "I'm running behind." running behind does not mean you are physically running. It simply means you are behind schedule. You can also say, I'm running about 10 minutes late. This is a very common text message because it tells the other person exactly what is happening and when you expect to arrive. It sounds much more natural than simply saying, I'm late. And when you finally arrive, you might say, sorry, I couldn't get here earlier. Notice the structure, couldn't get here. We use couldn't to explain that arriving earlier was not possible for us. This sentence shows that you wanted to be on time, but something prevented you from doing so. Before we finish, let's learn a few useful responses. After all, conversations have two people. If someone apologizes to you for being late, you can reply with friendly phrases such as, no worries, that's okay, or don't worry about it. These responses help make the conversation feel relaxed and comfortable. If the situation is a little more formal, you can say, that's all right, or thanks for letting me know. To quickly summarize, remember 3 things. First, use sorry I'm late when you want a quick and simple apology. Second, use thanks for waiting for me when you want to sound more positive and appreciative. Third, remember the 2 powerful patterns we learned today, sorry for noun and sorry for verb-ing. Once you understand these patterns, you can build dozens of natural English sentences by yourself. Now, I have a question for you. Imagine you are 10 minutes late to meet a friend for coffee. Which phrase would you use when you walk through the door? Would you say, sorry, I'm late? Thanks for waiting for me? Or something else? Write your answer in the comments below. I would love to read your examples. If you found today's lesson helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can learn one useful English concept every day in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.